Hi everybody, welcome to this episode of RBTV. It's been a while since I've done one of these ones. But I'm very excited to have all the chaps from 100 Horrors on the podcast.
Hello.
Hey. I feel weird, I don't know where to look.
Yeah. Where, me, I guess. Don't worry,
just turn around.
Will pick it up.
It's fit.
Back to everyone.
Yes,
there,
Rick.
yeah.
That's it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, first of all, thank you for coming. I know
Thank
you've
you
got
for
a
having
us.
very busy podcasting schedule.
Not at all. Nowhere near busy.
And I wanted to have you on because you've just hit your 100th episode.
We did.
How was that? How did that feel?
I
don't
really
know,
enjoyed
really.
it.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed to creep up out of nowhere, didn't it?
Yeah.
It was like we were recording one time and like, hello, welcome to episode 98. Bloody hell! Like, and then suddenly it snuck up out of nowhere. But yeah, the actual live show, we did a live show with it.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, I couldn't be there.
That's quite all right. That wasn't a dig at you.
Oh, we did a live show, by the way, just in case.
Where most people were there. No, yeah, it was good. It was, I think, stressful to set up, but it seemed to go down well.
Yeah.
And it was like a totally different animal, really.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you.
I don't think it was stressful at all. I think you
you were
pissed
doing
off,
it.
that's why.
I was
you
getting
were
really
just
stressed.
doing nothing.
you get stressed at anything.
I
stuff
was
like
stressed weeks ahead. I remember you coming around my house and be like, "You're stressed about Annie." I was like, "Yeah, I am. Yeah,
that. It went alright, didn't it?
yeah, it did."
Well,
Yeah.
I was setting up and I'd be like getting the cable out and then I'd turn and you'd be off. Both of you'd be off just drinking a pint. And I'd be like, oh, okay. So then I have to
It's
go
called
under the
socialising,
table.
Rob. People
Yeah,
had came
mingling.
from Stoke for that, so we had to make it worthwhile.
For me, it was. It felt like I can't remember it all.
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
like my wedding. I just can't remember it at all. No. It was just a blur because it was just such a rush.
Yeah,
I think I was more drunk at my wedding,
yeah.
probably.
Yeah, when it kicked off, I remember it going, and like I remember looking up for the first time and being like, "Oh, it's rammed," and just being like, "There's people standing at the back," and that was weird.
Yeah.
We'd put out like 100 potential tickets, and I think we had 60 show up, and there was like the back row was standing only.
Right.
So it's a good job like 100 didn't show up because we would have.
Yeah, that's a lot of people, yeah.
Yeah, we wouldn't have fit everyone in.
I don't know what Phil did for his podcasting off the ground, how many tickets or whatever, but...
Less than ours.
Oh, yeah. But me and Phil Pollard did 50 tickets for something in there last year, and that was, like, busy.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm glad we didn't do any more. So, yeah, hundreds.
Yeah.
Ambitious,
I know.
I set up the ticket link and I thought, oh, we'll get like 10 people.
Yeah.
And then I kept checking. It was like, oh, we've got like 50 something. I was like, all right, do I cap it or not? And then it was like, no, because 50 people won't show up. And then 60 people showed up. I should have checked names.
Didn't you find it weird watching The Shining with other people that you don't really know that well? There were certain things of the film where I thought, I've never noticed that in the film before. Are you out of your fucking mind? And I've never found that bit funny. But then
Everybody laughed.
everybody laughed, and I thought, that is actually quite funny.
Yeah.
Turn around like,
Was it like, did people like talk during it? Or was
No.
everyone like...
No.
chilling?
No, we thought it was like going to be film on, and then people kind of like, like when there's a footy game on at a pub, people stand around and like.
Yeah.
But it was like as soon as it started, everyone went very quiet, and we're like, oh, quiet now.
it was just like being in the cinema.
Yeah.
But like all the tables and chairs were at the same level, so you just saw like the back of people's heads. Because the screen was like sort of at this level, so there's no way that people at the back saw anything.
Hey, you're slagging him off.
I was right in the front row.
Hey?
Fucking-
Right in the front.
Yeah.
Look at his face.
When,
My podcast.
for the listeners that don't know, so your podcast started when who was it that got the poster for like Christmas or birthday or
I got
something?
the poster.
Did you think it would turn into like the workhorse that it is? Yeah, sorry. So the idea was you got a poster with 100 horror movies on it, and
That's
you
right.
decided that you three would get together and do a podcast about each film on
But
there.
what
and
was
scratch them off.
but what was weird about it was that for about a year before the podcast had started, we had a WhatsApp group just called 100 Horrors before we'd even had the poster. So one of us must have seen the poster. I think I vaguely remember. Yeah. It was a good year before we did it. Our WhatsApp group was called 100 Horrors, and then like I think at one point I floated the idea by and said, we should do a podcast where we just try and find like the best 100 horror films of all time. We'll call it 100 Horrors. We'll get one of them posters. And then we just didn't get the oh yeah, we'll do it. And then it was one of them things where you're like, oh, we'll do this. And then you don't actually do it. And then...
I do that with lots of things.
Yeah, exactly. And then it came round like to my birthday and we got the poster. Like my wife got me the poster and then we were like, we should actually do it. And then it was like trying to push it over where we were like, oh, yeah. And we were like, no, we should actually do it.
Yeah.
And then we we plotted it for ages, didn't we? And initially, I don't know if you can remember, the initial idea, we were really struggling with how the whole thing was going to work. And we were like, kind of had it in our heads, no one would want to listen to us just as us talk about horror films.
Mm-hmm.
So initially it was going to be like us playing characters watching the horror films.
Right.
So the
that's right,
first
yeah.
idea, one of the ideas that nearly came to fruition was that we were going to be 3 ex-London gangsters in an old people's home watching horror films, being outraged by the filth in them and stuff like that. And we're just going to be like these old cockneys watching it. And then, thank God we didn't do that, because
It's been horrible.
such a long time to kind of keep up a character. And I think it would have just annoyed everybody, like us and people listening and all that kind of thing.
Yeah. Shoot, like that, like, it's almost like the basis for a TV. You know what I mean? That turns into... There isn't something that you'd end up doing 100 episodes of, I think.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It
bored
either
of it.
kind of gets picked up, or you start turning it into like a YouTube show that you
That's
edit,
it.
and then it goes to Channel 4 or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As opposed to...
Yeah.
Or you
But
get bored of it.
that
Yeah,
would have been it.
or
That
not.
would have
Or
been
just-
I don't think
different.
there'd be any horror elements in it at all. It'll just be trying to outdo each other, trying to be funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been like try hardy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it leaves room for when you would inevitably, on some of the episodes where we've hated the films and got sick of them and we're just all in a bad mood slagging the films off, I don't think you could do that as a aged cockney man, to be honest.
Yeah.
So this has kept it a bit more grounded, but I think, I'd kind of anticipated that we were going to run for the whole thing. I think the idea was that once we had the poster and once we started going, we were committed to getting the first 100 done.
Yeah.
And it was like, right, we're going to do it just for us. We'll get it done, whether people listen or don't. And then, like, thankfully, people listen.
Yeah.
And it's turned out all right. Yeah.
It's pretty popular, isn't it?
It's all right. Yeah. It's not bad. It's again, we'd kind of underestimated how popular it was going to be. Like, I think I say this to everybody, but I literally thought, like, over the first 100 episodes, we'd get maybe 1,000 listens, and I'd be happy with that. I thought maybe 10 people would tune in every week, and
Yeah.
I think we just tipped 45,000 now, so we're doing all right. We kind of set goals, and I wouldn't mind hitting somewhere in the region of like 70,000 by the time. Oh no, 100,000 by the time we hit 200 episodes would be great. But I guess we'll see. We'll see what happens.
And has it gone like that, or is it like, in terms of like listeners, does it like drop? Did it like spike at the start and then?
It didn't do much for about a month. We were getting like 90 listeners every 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Which wasn't great, obviously, but it's not bad.
89 of them were our family.
Yeah,
I had it on repeat.
yeah, just to try to push the numbers, and then we started to speak to like other American podcasts and stuff, then one of them must have shared it, and suddenly it went like whale.
Right.
But then it's done the wave thing.
Yeah.
I think that's the nature of the horrid films that we've ended up watching.
Yeah, I think don't we get a spike when we watch something new?
We get
Or
spikes.
it's like something popular.
Yeah, so the Shining episode has been the most popular one for a while now,
Mm-hmm.
and the Terrifier one's doing pretty well. But that's because people want to see the film. So when we did Hereditary, that thing spiked massively.
Yeah.
Did Scream, the same thing happened. But when we did like
Dead
Ringers, The Crow, oh, people like the Basket Case episode. People like that one. But when you do them ones, people aren't listening.
Yeah. But they probably go like, I mean, if you were brand new to the podcast, you'd look at it, because I've done this. I listen to it as well as yours, another horror movie podcast. And when I first like got into it, I was just like, find a film that I've seen or that I like, and then you just that's like obviously Halloween, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like, so it's bound to kind of happen with that. But
Well, it's like one of our mates has started listening a couple of months ago, and he's listened to all the ones that he's seen, and now he's watching films because of the podcast.
Yeah.
Because he wants more episodes, but he wants to watch the films first.
I started doing that, and then I was like, I don't have time.
It's not worth it.
Like,
Look at your
Basket
hat.
Case and Dead Ringers.
Just noticed you.
Some of
That's
them.
pro shops.
Some of them are just
Authentic.
not worth sitting through. Some of them are not even horror. Like as much as I like Death Race. What about his hat?
It belongs in the 90s.
I literally bought it last year.
He was born in the 90s.
Oh, sorry.
What was I saying? Oh yeah, so like Death. What is it? Not Death Proof. Death Race
Race.
2000.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not a horror. It's a good film, but it's not a horror film.
yeah.
People aren't going to tune in and listen to that one.
I watched that like maybe a year or two ago and really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
good.
I think I got. Sorry, whoever bought me this, but someone bought me that post. It was like 100 horror films, and like 100 books to read before you die, and like they got lost in transit when I moved house.
Yeah.
Did they?
Yeah. Yeah. I might have lost it on purpose
Yeah,
in transit
yeah.
while moving house. But like, because I was checking them off and I watched Death Race and I was like, I think I was expecting the worst, to be honest.
Yeah.
So, and it was all right, but yeah.
You get to see Sylvester Stallone's bum, so it's worth
For
it
no
just-
But I
reason.
forgot
at
about
all.
all of
Yeah.
that
In
until
a
you
lobby.
started talking about it. I was like, I must have just
Yeah.
completely blanked out.
Everyone get naked, get in the lobby. This is where we're doing the massages.
So what's the aim with the next 100? Like, and are you doing it in chunks of 100? I guess because now you could just do 10 films and then take a break, and then you could do 10 films. Like you,
Yeah.
We
I
did
know it's
discuss
called
that.
100 Horrors, but
Yeah, we did discuss that, but I think I don't know how many we're going to do in a row. I think we'll probably just keep doing 100.
yeah,
Until one of us dies.
Because
I think.
well, yeah. But the plan is to finally get like the top 100, and then in theory, when you get the top 100, every time you review a film, it won't even make the list because they'll all be tens.
I say when you review a new film 10 times in a row and it doesn't make the list, we've got the
Yeah.
best 100.
2093. I'm expecting us to hit that.
Yeah,
Our
kids
children
will
will have taken over.
Yeah. So yeah, we're just basically picking films, and if people want to bring films as well, so you've been on the show a few times. If
Yeah.
you wanted to bring a film and be like, oh, I think this should go in the top 100,
okay,
we'll have a listen and we'll have a watch through and we'll try and see if it fits.
that'd be
But
fun.
what it'll do is it'll knock the bottom one off. So
Yeah.
we've got a new section
So
called
you've got
I
100
Cast Thee Back to
films
Hell.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then so you watch a new film and then it knocks.
It pushes the bottom one off.
Yeah.
Right,
Or
so
if
like
that's
Unless it
bottom.
doesn't
Yeah.
score
yeah.
high enough.
So I think we'll find a lot get knocked off at the start, and then eventually, towards the back end of season 2, we'll start seeing them not making the list. I think, like, well, I've just picked one called Evil Bong, so I don't know if that'll make the list or not. It looks brilliant,
Yeah.
but it's one of them ones that's probably going to be awful.
Yeah,
I'll be like, why did I do this?
I mean, it sounds great.
It looks good. It looks
Did
really
not
good.
make the list.
The good thing about this is we have seen films that we probably wouldn't necessarily have watched.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And there's been some quite good films.
yeah.
Well, I'm not even that bothered about horror films. I never have been.
I
They're
used
all
to
right. Yeah, I really like sci-fi.
Yeah.
They're all
the
right.
next one. Yeah, I used to be really into them, and then I feel like by default now I'm really into them. Like,
Yeah.
like
It's your go-to.
Desensitized.
it's my go-to. Yeah. So I'll go to put a film on, and I'll be like, "Why is no one being murdered?" And I'll be like, "Oh yeah,
Oh,
it's
this
the,
is nice.
this
Yeah.
is the Princess Bride."
It's
That's why.
it's ruined all my streaming services because all my suggestions are just horrors now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I'm like, then I'd have to like Prime's the worst because I can never find anything in that. So I'm skipping through and I just give up. Like, I'll just go on Netflix instead.
Just sit with the TV off.
Yeah.
Wait for the next day.
should set up a 100 Horrors profile.
Yeah, actually, I
Oh
should.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's a
Get your
good
life
idea.
back.
I think it's
Yeah.
too late now.
Yeah, well, yeah.
With a new
Now they'll
email.
both just be full of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So out of the films, like what? Well, go around each of you. What's been your favourite film to watch? Oh, best. I'd say best, but I feel like you're just going to say The Shining. Is that top?
No, well, I
Yeah.
mean that's top of the list.
Yeah.
but it's not the best. It's not my favorite film. It's weird
Right,
because
well,
like
yeah. What's your favourite that you've watched out of the last 100?
I would say Hellraiser is
Yeah?
still my favorite horror film, even though when I rated it, I think it landed on like an 8.5, which isn't
it?
that.
Fuck
It's
me,
not
that's
that
high.
big. Oh yeah, I forget
It's
that we
checking
do
as
that.
well.
Yes.
Yeah.
I forget that we do that. Yeah, so that's reasonably high, but it's not a 10. Whereas I've given other things like 10, like The Shining got a 10.
Yeah.
And I think I gave the original Texas Chainsaw a 10, but I was
Yeah,
probably
I could,
just
yeah.
giddy about doing the show then, so I was scoring.
But
such
no,
a
but
high.
I think it is. But yeah,
But I can see how flawed Hellraiser is because it's rubbish. But at the same time, I love it. Like I love that it's rubbish. It's like having an ugly cat or an ugly dog. You're like, you're terrible,
it
you.
made me feel sick. Hellraiser,
Did it?
I watched it, yeah, and I don't know why. I would like so. I've done it for the last 2 years because I have a small child now and it's impossible to get the time. But every October I used to watch a franchise.
I remember you doing that.
Yeah, so I watched it started with there's an amazing documentary called You'll Never Sleep Again,
Right.
which is 8.5 hours long and it's about
18 and a half.
8.5.
Oh, 8.5.
And it's about a Nightmare
Not
on Elm
8
Street.
I don't know
Eight's
why that's
alright.
even better.
Yeah.
Eight's alright.
Fine.
There's basically like an hour chunk about every Nightmare on Elm Street film.
Right.
So you can, and if you've got lots of time, you can watch a Nightmare on Elm Street film, then watch like an hour documentary about it, not in a row, you know what I mean? Just like, and then work your way through it. So I watched that at some point and watched all the Nightmare on Elm Streets alongside it when I just like had nothing else to do.
Yeah.
I was probably 25.
Yeah, didn't have kids.
Yeah. And so then I started doing that every October is my really long way of getting to this point. And then one of the last ones I did was all the Hellraiser films.
Yeah, oh, Jesus.
But I went in with the first one and I thought, right, I'll see what... Because usually the first one of a franchise is there's something there.
Yeah.
And then I watched Hellraiser and I was like, this is going to be a long October. This is going to be a really, really long October.
Well, there's a lot of evil bongs, apparently.
Oh,
so you want to do that this year?
I can remember
films
watching...
like that get to the point where we could make the next one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think so.
We
I
should
don't
do.
even...
Just get 10 grand.
I don't think people even... Like, you have to be the creator. You could just say, I'm making an evil bong film.
Oh,
and
yeah,
then you just add to it and people are like, yeah, no worries. Just put it in there, yeah. But I remember with the original Hellraiser, I remember... I've got like your core memories. I've got a core memory of sitting on my sofa in uni with our mate Daryl and eating cheese and salad cream sandwiches just as a man was being like pulled apart by hooks.
I was going to say, yeah.
We were eating them and Daryl went, how desensitized are we? And just being like, just being crying, laughing at how absurd these films are. And they are just, if you haven't seen Hellraiser, you need to check it out.
Well,
so good.
I thought I was desensitized until I got to Terrifier.
Terrifying.
It's just
Yeah.
minging.
Mental.
Terrifier 2 was minging.
I haven't watched Terrifier 2 yet.
Oh,
It was
God,
There's
horrendous.
one. Have you?
Check it
Oh
out.
no, you won't have. The next episode's out on Friday,
Yeah,
isn't it?
Next episode's Terrifier.
You might
2, yeah.
want to watch it before.
Yeah. What's been your favourite film to watch out of the 100? It doesn't have to be your favourite. Like, what's been the best?
There's obviously The Shining and Hereditary. I think American Psycho was good to watch,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
Let's moan.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was good. I'm laughing because we've done that episode and it's not on the poster and we can't
I know,
wait how
yeah.
it's happened.
Yeah.
Don't know how we
I
done
was
it.
just about to say, is that on?
No,
No.
we finished the poster and we were I went and scratched one off. I was like, I haven't seen Devil's Backbone. How have we done this? And we
It's
were
like-
like episode 100. It just snuck in somehow.
It's like
How it's done it.
Is it the Mandela effect?
Yeah, different poster.
Yeah.
It's like we just assumed it was on there, so reviewed it, and then nobody scratched it
Well,
off.
I remember we got to Devil's Backbone and I just watched it about a month before and I was like, I don't want to watch it again. And then we were like, right, okay, we'll do something else. And then I don't know how American Psycho got
I can
in.
distinctly remember the little logo of it. It is Mandela Effect. It's definitely on there, but it's not at the same time.
Candyman was good. I enjoyed doing that
Oh,
one.
yeah, it was good, that.
And then any with your
Yeah.
dad on. So The Exorcist one was really good, especially when he.
No, not your favourite episode, your favourite film.
Yeah,
Oh,
well, yeah.
me.
But it was a good episode to do because I remember your dad turning up without forgetting his notes, and he was on the phone to your mum going, "Can you send me the notes?" No,
sat
I'm
in
in
a
my
chair,
bloody
but
night. What dressing gown? I'm in
Where's
my
my
dressing gown.
And he sat in a chair that was too low. So he was like, phoning my mum, like, can you bring my notes? And she went, no, you come get it. He was like, can't get up. No, yes, you can. Rubbish.
That was when we were in the garage, I think.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I feel like I should have invited him here, to be honest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll bring him on next time. He'll tell you about all his projects.
Just bring him on.
Just you and Joe. So what have you got going on? We watch a lot of Laurel and Hardy.
Feed the birds a lot.
I forgot you were in the garage.
Yeah.
Yeah, stunk of
Hops.
didn't it? Yeah.
Homebrewing at the time.
But yeah, well, American Psycho. It's just I just love that film. It's
Yeah.
great, and his impression's really good.
It is very good.
Go do it.
Let's bone. It's not even that good. It's what he
Let's
says.
bone. Let's bone. It's his face. His worst one was Day of the Triffids. Go on. Your turn.
It's not your podcast.
Go on.
Well, obviously, like you say, Hereditary is really good. I really like It. I think I gave that a 10.
Is that...
It 2, I think.
Do you...
The new one.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, the new one.
Yeah.
Because I like the book. And I think, thinking about it though, the biggest surprise that I wasn't expecting was It Follows. Because that was terrifying.
film.
Yeah,
And
It Follows is great.
a really good soundtrack on it as well. And I'm
Yeah.
a sucker for a soundtrack. And it's like fantastic.
Yeah.
Terrifying. And not like believable, but you can picture yourself in that situation.
Yeah.
Whereas some of them, it's just like,
Yeah.
just completely disconnected from it. Whereas that one, I felt really immersed in it.
It's funny because It Follows in terms of like big, like it's definitely flown under the radar in terms of like if you're a horror fan, you know It Follows, but
Yeah.
if you're not, like it's not like got the same clout as like a
Yeah.
Scream or like, so I was quite surprised to see it on the poster, but I'm glad it was because it's
Yeah.
obviously
I don't think I'd heard of it, to be honest.
yeah.
But yeah, apart from that, there wasn't many surprises. There was just a load of rubbish. The majority, I think I was
There
more
was a lot of
disappointed.
rubbish though, wasn't it? There was.
There was about 20 good films on that poster.
I think I was more disappointed than happy. The majority. I remember getting to it and be like, oh, I've got 3 films to watch in 3 days.
Yeah.
And they're all shite.
Yeah,
And I know they're going to be rubbish.
And
it's
the
like,
ones that you've
I know
actually
they're going to
watched
be
twice
rubbish,
as
so
well.
I'd like to watch Evil Bong next.
that looks good. The trailer looks pretty.
I
Yeah.
think you would have a laugh
It's
for that.
funny though, like thinking about like obviously making the poster. If that was your job for whatever reason, like whoever's job that is,
Well, they're an idiot.
but like you couldn't, because I'd go, well, immediately you can think of loads of better horror movies. So then I thought, well, like what? And I thought, well, Evil Dead 2, but is like, would that be seen as a
Well,
pop out? Like, can you
yeah.
on the poster?
Because there is no
Like,
sequels on the poster
yeah,
as well.
like Evil Dead 2 is amazing. Halloween 2 is not amazing, but like, do you know, it's better than a lot of the stuff.
Yeah,
that
Halloween
you've
2 is
watched.
alright, yeah.
Well,
So-
I reckon if I was making that poster, I'd get to about 20 and be like, I've run out of films now. So I've just got to find some online.
You
It's
could
like
just,
best
you could
horrors.
literally IMDb top 100 horror films.
Well, yeah.
You know,
Yeah, yeah.
So maybe
we
that's-
need to do that.
Surely that's.
But then
no.
some of the top ones, or some of the ones that we
But that
thought
would
were
have sequels on it,
awful,
though, wouldn't it?
ended up
Yeah.
being like in the top 100. So, what was that Donald Sutherland one? Don't Look Now. It's
Oh.
like one of the best horror
that's like
films
a
of all
cult classic.
time.
Yeah,
It's, it's
yeah,
garbage.
Yeah,
It's just garbage.
One of the, it was like a, like an institution type magazine. Someone had said, "Oh, it's one of the best British films ever."
No.
Yeah.
Like, well, no,
It's not.
It's not.
not even the best like British horror film.
No,
Like, it
it's
shouldn't even go anywhere near it. But
I've just got that shot of Donald Sutherland's face, just like ingrained in my.
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
Like it's everywhere, isn't it? Like if you type in like horror
Yeah.
movies, it's just Donald Sutherland. Like,
Is that the bit where he's wrestling with his...
His sex scene.
Yeah.
14-minute long
oh
sex
yes,
scene.
yeah.
Too much.
just wrestling each other?
horrible.
I think we had, like I remember Daryl talking about Don't Look Now a lot in college.
We watched
Yeah.
it in college.
Yeah.
Even
yeah.
I remember that
Yeah.
Yeah.
because I'd never heard of it, and then someone said watch it, and I think it was Daryl. It's like,
He's got a lot to blame.
Is Suspiria on there?
Yes.
Yeah, the original Suspiria's on there. The remake of Suspiria is really good.
Yeah. We
Yeah.
went to cinema to see that, didn't
Oh,
we?
horrible.
oh,
You
what an
remember?
awful
Yeah,
time.
For some reason, Rob just makes me laugh, and I don't know what it is. But he had a jacket on similar to what I've got now, so when you move, it goes shh, shh, like that.
Dead
And
loud.
it's not funny, but he was there, and your dad was next to him, and Matty was there, and for some reason, it was just making me laugh. But you weren't doing it to make me
It's
laugh,
just shuffling, like,
which made
like
me laugh
doing that.
anyway for no reason. And then later on, the lad next to me or next to
John.
Matty?
You called John.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember.
He was having a fit, wasn't he?
Yeah,
it was a
during
bit
one
where
of the really horrible scenes, yeah.
goes
Yeah, she which
Disjointed and
mangles her and all
Yeah.
the jaw breaks and stuff, doesn't it?
and he was
yeah,
having a
brilliant.
fit,
Yeah,
giving it that.
literally just went at the same time, and when he started doing the same as us, and I think it had just been too much for him.
There was
And
a witch
his
at the
mum
back.
was like, John,
Yeah.
John, like in the cinema.
What is there?
In the cinema when
The
we were
arc,
watching
was
it,
it the arc,
yeah,
wasn't
it get to a scene where a girl was just like all the bones are breaking
Yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, I remember.
And then he literally, I thought he was just being a prick. Next to us, just went and started to do
Is
the
that having
same.
an actual
Had a
fit?
seizure, yeah, because it was too frightening for him.
At
I'll
the
be honest
same
with you,
time,
Rick-
all those guys broke in as well.
Yeah, a lot of geezers. What a viewing that was.
I'll be honest with you, Rick. He ruined it. He ruined the film.
And like,
can't remember much.
a man came and took him away, and that was it. And we were all just sat like, bloody hell, it's going to be horrible.
Just like out the fire exit and shot him in the
Yeah,
bin,
just
or-
shot him in the bin.
Get
next to him.
out.
But I remember being I would have been more frightened, but I feel like I knew what was happening as soon as it started, because when I was in school, we went to a Catholic school, and they made us watch a really graphic video of Jesus being nailed to a cross just in the cinema, because that's what we're into.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah,
That's what we're into in Catholic school. I remember watching it, and there was a lad there just as they were really digging in, really getting the nails in it, really giving him what for. He started to panic as well, and he went into seizure. And the lad
Really?
behind him thought he was messing around, so just punched the back of his head. And he fell off his chair and was like, fitting. And then another time, a teacher was talking
Surely
about something.
that's like the nail. Oh, put like the nail in the coffin. Like,
Yeah.
punch him in the back
Yeah,
of the
yeah,
head,
just
like-
was like. But also, if you
Just
saw that,
cued
just
him.
like going,
Straight was just like,
Respect Jesus.
thank you. I've been fitting for all my life.
feel better. now.
Daily.
But then another guy, when we were at
Still on
school,
medication.
his teacher, our history teacher, was talking about Gorlin syndrome, which is a disease that like melts your muscle tissue and your
Right.
skin and stuff. And there'd been a documentary on the night before, and she was explaining in graphic detail what it was about for some reason. And he did the same. He just passed out, but he'd wedged himself. He was a fat lad. He'd wedged himself between the table and his chair so tightly that he just went. Passed out.
Jabba the Hutt gets strangled.
Yeah, it was like when Jabba
Did he make that noise?
He did. He went.
Like, he'd
He went,
give up.
no, that stuck him. And he just went,
Did you ever
was
do any
wedged.
learning at school?
Yeah, I did, yeah. Eventually, yeah.
Just about seizures.
Oh,
Learned about Jesus and Gorlin syndrome.
I think the only thing that happened to me like that was it was primary school, and you know when you sit on the carpet, I sat on the carpet, and like some people got to sit at the tables because the carpet was full. So I was sat like in front of this table, and I heard someone go. I was like, "Oh no, they've been sick." So I turned around, and there was this like wave of sick rolling while I said this.
Things like that always happen to you.
I had no way out, so I had to go under the table.
Was the sick driven down? like a waterfall.
It was going over the table.
It always happens to him,
Oh, honestly, it was awful.
Always happens to you.
I remember as well. It was milk,
Oh.
so it was white sick.
Oh man.
Oh God, he's been sick.
Brilliant.
Horrible.
Yeah, good that.
What were we
That's the
talking
real
about?
horror.
I don't know what we're talking about.
Favourite horror film.
Oh, Suspiria. You put Suspiria to be
Yeah.
sick on in class.
I'm so hot.
It does get warm.
I'd be sick.
Take your hoodies off or whatever. Is Rosemary's Baby on there?
Yeah.
That was a good film.
That was
That
great.
That was a
actually.
surprising
Yeah,
one. I
yeah,
thought,
yeah.
yeah.
I'd seen it before. I read the book a bit after. Someone bought me the book actually.
Yeah, the book's
Like
amazing.
after listening to the podcast. Yeah,
Not
really
to do
good.
a Rob, but-
It's Ira Levin. He wrote it. Yeah, really good. Really good book. Yeah,
I'll read it if it's a comic.
it's if there's pictures.
It's
I'll
got
read it.
pictures.
Someone will
in it,
read.
I'll
Jen
read it.
reads them to you, doesn't she?
Yeah, that's how I sleep on a night.
Too scary.
Like, were you like? I feel like people that don't know, Matty and Rob are brothers, and kind of come up with a lot of schemes and a lot of plots and do stuff anyway. To start with, were you like? I felt like you were almost like dragged into it. Like, did you have a choice, or were you like, sit there?
I don't know. We just done it, but I always.
I think I was the one that was dragged into it.
Yeah, really?
Because I had the gear as well. I have all the recording gear. So
I think
So they needed
want
me.
to record a podcast. We
saved
record
ourselves
it.
a bit of
Yeah.
money, but
Yeah.
we always used to do like daft little films when we were younger, didn't we? And stuff
Yeah.
like that all
Yeah.
together. So it was just we've always done stuff as we've grown up. But I always think that obviously Matty's a film media teacher, so he's got a background. Rob's, and what's your degree in sound engineering?
yeah, pretty much.
So these guys have got it covered. I support Man United. I've got no affiliation with how to make a movie or anything like that. So I
Yeah.
always find like I'm the one who's maybe the person on the street who's
it's
giving an
quite a
opinion
nice
on a
balance
film.
To like, yeah,
And these have got like a little bit more,
You're the
Yeah.
Carl Pilkington.
yeah.
Yeah.
But with hair.
Someone I know, an American, said you sound like Stephen Merchant.
I sound nothing like Stephen
Yeah.
Merchant.
Oh.
No, I
yeah,
don't
no,
get
you
that.
don't. Yeah.
No.
However, I was laughing. I think was it your mum that said like, or somebody said that like you've done a really good job on the intro.
Oh yeah,
You thought it was me?
Yeah.
Until
Yeah.
you said that, I thought it was you.
Did you think it was him as
yeah,
well?
yeah. No,
Whoa.
it was text to speech thing.
Welcome to.
Yeah.
Oh no, I don't think it sounds like me.
Oh, well, neither do I, but apparently so.
It sounds like a woman. Oh, that's
Yeah.
probably
But
why.
I didn't know if it was because I knew you. I thought, oh, they've recorded an intro, and maybe it's the closest to your voice out of the three. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know.
Ah,
but
right, yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was you, and then Rob said that, and I was like, oh.
Just do the true and false, and that's it.
Huh?
Do the true false. that
No, you
bit.
didn't.
It's
That
not
was
you.
me.
Yeah, it is.
No, it
It
isn't.
isn't?
Yes, it is.
No, I recorded them.
It is because I sent it. Remember, I recorded it on my phone and sent it to Rob.
Yeah, and then I had to re-record it properly
Oh,
because I
for
can't use a
fuck's
phone
sake.
recording.
I can't have anything right. Really?
We'll redo it if you want. You can come and do it.
All this time.
Yeah.
All this time.
I don't remember any of
Yeah, I
that.
remember because true and false. But then you done the skit at the start, didn't you? The song. Oh no, at least I
did
don't
all
want to
of
die.
At least I don't want to die.
That
I
one.
did all of them because it was a mad rush to get loads done before episode 1.
Yeah, because you probably waited till the 11th hour to get it
Yeah,
done
that's
before it
definitely your
started.
voice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm busy.
a couple of harmonies and stuff.
Yeah. No, I did them all.
Yeah,
Then there was all the other jingles where I was pretending to be like a werewolf and a witch and stuff like that.
can you imagine Emma downstairs? God, he's
I
not
feel
here.
sorry for her anyway. She has to listen to us like shouting and screaming
Yeah.
in the upstairs, well, the dining room now since we've moved to the dining room,
And
Yeah,
watch
it's
all the
even-
horror films.
and watch all the films
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
She suggested Evil Bong though.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
Get her on as a guest then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Get her on. Add some class.
We'll get
Have you seen
Bong in.
Have you seen the poster for Evil
we'll
Bong?
smoke a bong.
No, I can't wait though. I'll put it on the screens for the
Let me just
watchers.
delete
If Emma doesn't, you should be on it. If Emma doesn't want to be on it,
All right, yeah.
you can
What,
be on
Evil
it.
Bong?
You can come on for
Yeah.
Evil Bong. Yeah.
All right.
I've always seen this
Trying to
clip,
think if I've
and
got
it was
some bad films that we could watch.
Oh,
but,
perfect.
Tommy Chong.
Tommy.
oh,
From
Cheech and Chong.
Cheech and Chong.
Yeah,
Oh, right. Roll on, Evil Bong.
there's a gingerbread man in it, and it's the only thing that
Yeah,
I've
in a good
gathered.
way.
like, it's not even, like 80s horror posters where like the film was awful, but they still had like mad kick-ass
Amazing
posters.
posters.
That's
yeah.
an awful poster.
Gingerbread Man versus Evil Bong.
Oh, what are we doing?
Like, that's terrible, that, isn't it? Who
So
made
what-
that? Well, I know who made that. Someone
Bloody
did on
hell.
Photoshop.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but
truly.
there's a
Someone's 15-year-old nephew, like, oh,
That's an A-level media project that's got out of
Johnny's
hand.
good with
that.
computers. Can you make a poster for Evil Bong?
Evil
think-
Bong 3, The Wrath of Bong.
Oh, brilliant.
Bong.
There's
King Bong.
I think the story is that you smoke this bong and then you have weird like dreams, and then the dreams come true, and there's something about a giant gingerbread man. Well, not giant, but like life size, and his face is horrendous.
Right.
And I've seen clips of it on in GIFs and stuff like that. It looks brilliant.
Right. Okay. All right. We'll do it. This is the beauty of season
I am
2.
looking
We can
forward-
pick
I'll
out
do
films we can
like
watch.
gone for like Terrifier and Terrifier 2, which are like
Yeah. What else did we do? The Witch. The Witch was the one after that. Like it's classic films.
Yeah,
Evil
but-
Bong, please.
Actually, I don't know. We're gonna have to do Skin Rank next, aren't we? Because that's what I picked.
All right.
Yeah. Oh, well, we'll do Evil Bong eventually.
Right. Yeah.
stick it on the list.
I don't know what else I've got on my list.
You're listening to Rick's Late Hour.
Yeah, I feel like when I listened to your podcast to start with, I was like, oh, they've got like some production and like an intro and like all this. I was like, everybody else needs to up the game now, including me, and get
That
a little
was-
jingle made and stuff.
Yeah, it was weird. That was how we. That was one of the. We kind of sat down and plotted out how we were going to make the show work because we wanted it to be like popular.
Yeah,
You don't want to kind of. I would have been happy like if I'd have got 1,000 listens in the first episode. In the first episode, bloody hell, in the first series because.
that's a
I
lot.
just
of
wanted
listeners.
like I mean it's a lot of listens anyway, and also like I just kind of wanted a record of like the conversations that we have and stuff like that, so that when I'm old I can be like listen back and be like, oh, we were funny at one point, or these two were funny, or whatever.
That's why I wrote that book, because I was like, I don't want to forget the story.
That's it. Yeah. And then but we sat down and kind of made a plan, and one of the things was that we were going to have high production value.
Yeah.
Because like so many people record. I mean, anyone can record a podcast on your phone and stuff.
Yeah,
But
lots of
loads of
people
people do it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's not great. Like you kind of have to have it sound good, and you have to have good jingles and things like that. So that was like one of the big things. I remember when we first launched it, loads of people getting in touch with us. Like I've got a few mates at BBC Tees getting in touch, being like, "Oh, I've listened to your podcast, amazing production value." I was like, "Oh, cheers, you like the show?" They're like, "Really good production value." That I say, "Oh, cheers." So yeah,
Not
I think
fans
it's one of the
of
selling
Censor,
points, but it's important because no one wants to listen to terrible audio.
Yeah,
Hence the
yeah,
microphones now and
yeah.
stuff. So
Well, people listen to the first, like I think I said this on something before. Like people will always give like your first one a go, and if it's like, but you've got to kind of follow up with good ones and good production value. You know, if you like rewind and you said I'm going to put out 100 horrors, and it wasn't very good production value, like half the people are going to listen to it again. And if you still haven't sorted out your production value, that's just going to drop off until like they just until you're just screaming at the void.
There's so
watching
much
films you don't want to watch.
yeah, and there's so much. There's like a wealth of options out there for people to listen to.
Yeah.
So I feel like if you don't kind of like get an audience nice and early, they'll just dismiss it and move off and be like, right, we're going to just listen to something else now. Because there's tons of great horror films that do exactly what we do, and probably better as well. But like, you've got to kind of make yourself stand out, I think, a little bit.
Yeah, we had this is a tangent, but we were chatting with work the other day, and I basically did like a thing on like YouTube and like how to just like create content for YouTube smartly and doing all the stuff like on the back end, like adding keyword tags and all that boring stuff. But they were like, we were just chatting to these guys that are like a really high level and have like hundreds of thousands of subscribers and stuff. And they were talking about people that try and like now we'll start a YouTube channel or a podcast and like try and be funny and they're like, oh, look, that's my thing. And oh yeah, we're gonna like do like a comedy show on YouTube because they have a view of like YouTube still being a bit DIY. But
Right.
now on YouTube you're competing with Jimmy Carr.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like who's funnier?
Yeah.
People are going to choose Jimmy Carr. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So you kind of have to raise the bar a little bit.
Yeah.
Obviously, like yours is different, but how did you find doing your first video episode the other day, by the way? Or the other week? I think it was.
Weird.
Yeah?
Really odd.
I find you think a lot more about what you say.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Because you're aware of the cameras.
I think so,
Whereas I
and
guess
because
with a
I know,
microphone, you just kind of.
because before I used to edit literally every little detail of the episode, so
Yeah.
someone would say something, and I'd be like, I'd either think you can't say that. There's a lot of our content gets cut because you can't
Lose
say
our
it.
jobs.
Yeah, exactly. So then, like I'll cut out like either like normally your mic,
Cheers.
or like a full section. But now I'm just sending so we can sync up the video and the audio because I'm not doing the video. I'm just doing the audio. I'll only cut out like over the jingles and stuff, then send the whole thing. So it's not down to me to edit it anymore.
So it's down to me, and my quality control's not as good.
Well, you don't have the individual
And
tracks.
lip readers.
No, I don't. So,
I hope no lip readers.
so we literally, like in the last one, we just had to make an effort to be like, really keep it as clean as you can, because like there's only maybe, I think I literally cut one section out, and that was it in the last one. So they're basically going out unedited now.
It's dangerous.
Which is it is.
I mean, I don't
dangerous.
edit any of this, just out of
Oh, do you not? Does it just run? That's cool. People find it. Do your guests find it weird when you do that?
Yes and no. Well, I usually preface it, and I haven't with you guys just because you're mates and we just sat down and started talking.
Right.
But I usually say, if you want me to, or if we get to the end of the podcast and you go, fucking hell, I shouldn't have said that, I'm going to lose my job.
Yeah.
Like, or just like, actually, can we cut that bit out? I'll happily go in and like find it and chip it out. But like otherwise, it just like feels like a free flow conversation.
Yeah.
There's been bits where, so at work, I produce a podcast for our company. And one of the girls who works for us, who was like at one point like a big time vlogger, YouTuber, and all that, she was like, "Oh, on the podcast, like it's just got all mics like ahs and 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 like deep breaths and all that." She was like, for her it was a bit jarring because she's used to diving into her like vlogs and chipping out every single like little bit, so it's like polished and perfect.
Yeah.
But I was like, it's going to take me days, and if you want me to do that, I can do that, but I should be working on other stuff. B, like, I was like, it just feels like a natural conversation. I was like, if I clip bits out for like promotional bits, then I'll clip out the ums and ahs. It's for like a minute long video on Instagram, so I can easily find the 3 ers.
Yeah, and take them out.
And take them out because people will stop watching on Instagram, whatever. But I was like, it's just a conversation, like just. Like, we're all from Teesside. We all know we're from Teesside. Like,
we all sound horrible around here. So,
we all know what we're going to sound like. So.
Well, sometimes I'll used to cut out, like, we'd say something and then someone would talk, something would go wrong, or someone would say something that you couldn't say, and then we'd have to remember what the last sentence was and then say it again. So you would, like, I would chop off the back end of that sentence and then take it from this one and then chop it together.
Yeah.
Which, if it's just audio, obviously you don't know the cuts there, but now with the video, you can't do it because it'll jump.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's going to be... You have to think about things a bit more. Which I hope it doesn't... I don't think it'll affect it, but I think as we go along, you'll forget they're there as well.
Yeah. I don't think it will affect it. To be honest, the reason it felt weird is because we got really used to recording in the garage when we first started, and then the pasting table collapsed that we recorded on. And I wasn't shelling out 20 quid for another one. So then we moved to your studio for a little bit. We did quite a lot there, and then to record
upstairs,
the video upstairs where you recorded with us, and then you were in the garage as well at one point, weren't you?
Yeah. Days, yeah.
Sorry about that. And then we've moved downstairs now.
I had to work out what the frequency of the boiler was, so I could noise cancel it as well. Because every now and again it'd kick in, you'd hear it in the background.
But now we've moved downstairs, and we were used to recording upstairs where there was like we'd put a red LED light on
for no reason.
So
we can't read our notes.
Because I used to write in red. I used to write in red pen as well, and then it'd be like turn the light on, and literally my notes would just disappear off my page, and I couldn't read anything. So now we moved downstairs. We've got not natural light, but we've got like white light.
Yeah.
And we're not facing each other anymore because we used to literally just sit and face each other.
Yeah, it was like a.
Yeah, just
like,
basically
like you were doing like a sacrifice. Or
basically,
in a circle.
Yeah. But now we all sit at a table and face out, and it felt weird. But I mean, I don't know if you can't tell on Spotify whether people are actually watching it or not.
Right.
A few people have shared it saying like, video episodes out now, and surely they must have been watched it, but we can't see if people watch it. We can just see the overall downloads and stuff.
Interesting.
I think we need a YouTube channel.
I think we need to I'll sort that out tonight. Start on YouTube.
I'll chat to you about that before you do that.
All right, nice one. That'd be good. Definitely. But so it's weird, but it's just one of them things that we'll get. I'm sure we'll get used to it.
We'll be going back up to the studio soon once it's decorated.
Oh, perfect.
But I'll get a table.
Yeah, we're gonna
Get
need
a camping
to.
table.
Do you find that you've got better at, like, well, this depends if you're listening back to your episodes, but like, have you got better at talking and holding conversation?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. If you listen, when I've gone back and listened to
Yeah.
episode,
Sick of talking.
gone back and listened to episode 1, you can hear how nervous everyone is now.
Yeah.
Like it's really.
I'm not a very clear speaker anyway. I don't think I like to mumble a lot, and I was really clear at the start, and then you can tell I just forgot about it.
You just don't care
And I'll just
anymore.
mumble again. And I worry that the Americans can't understand a word I'm saying.
I think Americans will tune in just for the British accents. If I'm honest.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Stephen Merchant's on it.
Yeah.
We interrupt less.
I've noticed that. It feels like when you're in a band.
Yeah, I've noticed
and
that.
you
Yeah,
kind
we
of-
do, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It feels like when you're a band and you kind of know what the other person's going to do when you've been playing together for so long.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can kind of.
Although, ironically, if anyone's the worst at you, you're the worst for interrupting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not because you're rude, but because you get excited and
That's
you
it.
want to put your point across straight away.
And because I'm rude.
I notice when I'm talking, I don't listen to what other people are saying. So someone will make a joke and I don't hear it, and then I listen back and then I'm like, didn't hear that. Someone will make a joke and I'll completely miss it because I'm too busy either reading my notes or watching the audio or something. But yeah.
What's funny is I've told you this before, but like I listen to your episodes on a Friday morning when I walk the dogs.
Right, okay.
But I'll listen to the episodes when I've been on it just to see, and I'm like, if I sound like a dick or like, and I laugh in exactly the same places.
Oh dear.
It's almost like when you finish. When you finish recording the podcast, it's just like empties out your head. You're like, oh, I wonder what I talked about for like 20 minutes. It's strange. And then and I literally I'll be walking around my estate and I'll start laughing and I hear myself laughing in my headphones. This is fucking weird, guys. But
it's weird as well. Our mates who listen, who like knows, not people we've met over Instagram and stuff. They'll listen to the show and then, like our friend Lewis was texting us the other day saying it's so weird. You'll say something and then I'll think what my response is, and one of you will say the exact response I was thinking of. It's kind of similar humour and stuff, which is really odd.
Didn't somebody think we were scripting it at first?
I think so.
Someone had said, there's no way that's not scripted.
Really?
Yeah,
Someone said that?
Someone had mentioned the script, or someone had asked us about writing the script, because we've got friends, we've got quite a lot of friends who produce podcasts as well.
Yeah.
So Spoils of Horror, for example, an American podcast, who do what we do but 4 times as long. They literally, they'll watch. They'll watch. All right, lads.
Can't they?
They'll watch the film 3 times. I've heard them say, we watch it 3 times before we record it, and then they'll spend their Sunday writing a full script because they break down every single scene, which is brilliant. Because if you haven't seen the film, you can tell exactly what's going on,
right?
Which is great. But that seems like a lot of work to be doing all that. It's a high level of dedication, and we have other friends like Dark Adaptations. And the lady from that, she will literally, it's a true crime podcast, so she'll spend ages researching and then scripting it and stuff like that. But we literally
we did that
that's
on.
It's like a show. It feels less like a
we've got jobs as well.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's it. Well, they do too, which is
they?
crazy.
Really?
That they all work full-time jobs and they have all that time.
I think Horror House, he was reading off a script.
Dom at Horror House was reading off a script too, wasn't he? Because it's like research and stuff.
Yeah, to be fair, in that situation it works, but it obviously wouldn't work for us. But I do about half an hour's worth of research on my films. Just absolutely
IMDb trivia.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. And then if I find something interesting, then I'll search it a bit more. But they drive me mental.
Thinking about the Brain Dead's a bad example because I liked Brain Dead, but I don't know. Pick a film that's terrible.
What, a bad one?
Yeah.
The Fly.
Oh,
The
Fly.
The Crow. Well, there's lots to talk
There's
about.
reasons
But The Fly, you go, it's made by David Cronenberg. It's Jeff Goldblum's earlier films. What else are you going to talk about?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Once you got past box office and how much
Yeah.
you made, you're like, it just exists as a film. Something like The Crow, you go, you talk about obviously the Brandon Lee stuff and the gun and all that shit, but there's films that just don't need talking about.
Exactly.
Exploring. There's so little trivia.
You can tell which ones that we don't like because the episodes are about 10 minutes long, 15 minutes.
Having said that, though, some of the more films that we do like, they're not necessarily best episodes because we can't necessarily pull it apart like we tried to.
That was a great
or
film.
there's not that much trivia.
Yeah.
Like Killer Clowns is one of the worst films I've ever seen.
You've got a poster of it.
But I love it. Yeah, I love it now. I don't love the film. I'll never watch it again if I don't have to. But like, I have a poster of it, and I'm really devastated that I didn't buy a Funko of one of the clowns that I saw in Edinburgh.
Yeah.
I should have bought it. It's like 70 quid on
I was going to say
eBay
now.
now.
Yeah.
Oh god, it was a tenner as well.
Who's going to buy that?
Not me, not for 70 quid. But yeah, like that episode is one of the funnest ones, just because we watched it. We're like, what on earth is this film?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sure
Yeah,
like
yeah.
upcoming episodes when people are recommending that we watch these terrible films.
Yeah.
Are just gonna. But then the thing is as well, like there's a difference between a terrible film and a film that's. How would I even word this? There's like some that are fun terrible, like Killer Clowns is fun terrible. I think.
Yeah.
And
You
then
kind
terrible.
and then there's just boring. I
Yeah.
think that's
Yeah.
what it
Okay.
is.
Yeah.
Dead Ringers.
Yeah. Just
Like
tedious.
Dead Ringers
Yeah.
was just really tedious
bad.
and boring,
Yeah.
and it just it took itself too seriously.
But then there's some like that as well. Like I can't stand. Well, I'm gonna go into it with Evil Bong, but I really don't like horror comedy.
Yeah.
But so there was things like Peter Jackson's films. We did 2 of them, didn't we?
Bad Taste.
You two really
Bad
liked it.
Taste.
I've
Right.
seen Bad Taste, yeah, but I like
Brain
Brain
Dead,
Dead.
I like Brain
I think
Dead.
Brain
Yeah,
Dead's amazing.
Yeah.
But it's. I think if it is funny, then it makes up for it. But a lot of them aren't funny at all. So they're not funny. They're not scary, and it's just like, why would you bother making this?
What about
I'm
Dog
like
Soldiers?
thinking that, and I'm thinking
Dog
the last
Soldiers
time I
are
watched it
fine,
was I was 18, and that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
So maybe it's not very good anymore.
Oh, it was just like child humor.
Yeah,
Like a 3-year-old had written it.
yeah.
Thought it was funny. It's wound me
Yeah,
up.
it's probably the type of thing
naturally
that I'd like to admit when I was 18.
Yeah.
At 34, maybe not so much.
No, it's still
Yeah.
amazing. I'm telling you.
All right,
it's
I
worth
feel
digging
like
into.
we're
It's still very good.
Just empathising with Rob. But I think you give Terrifier quite a low score. But I was thinking about this today actually because I thought, well, actually, you were right on all the points. Like it is shonky, it's horrific, but then I thought, well, if you went like, and this is a ridiculous scale really, but like per budget for the budget, I think it's probably like one of the best horror movies.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah,
dollar
yeah,
to
yeah.
fun ratio
Yeah.
is through
Yes,
the roof.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
35k to make that. It is.
So you said that in the
I'm not saying
podcast.
I'll say it
Through the
again.
roof.
I'll stick to it through the roof, man.
Yeah.
It's great.
And I think that's probably one of the reasons why it like was so. I mean, because it's horrific, and Art the Clown's like he's like an iconic character now, whether he likes it or not.
He's a very
like,
sexy
I think
guy.
Art the Clown is going to be, a Jason or a Michael Myers style
Yeah.
person. But yeah, I think the budget is one of the reasons why.
What was your
it's probably
favourite
shot up to.
What was your favourite bit?
Terrifying.
What was your favourite bit of Terrifying?
I don't know. It was alright. It was interesting when you were talking about how you just like weren't bothered when any of them died. I was a bit
didn't
sad
care.
when the main protagonist died.
Oh really?
Yeah, I can't remember. It was a while ago. I can't remember.
Is that the one who
Dawn. I think it's
Yeah.
Dawn. I think it's Dawn.
Yeah, yeah.
Might be. I don't know.
At least he's gentleman. He's a gentleman. He takes the knickers off though.
Yeah, he
first,
does.
doesn't
Yeah, in case you need to use them again.
Kind.
after.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
lovely. But because there's a little bit, and I don't know if it's just me as an optimist, but I'm like, oh my god, she's hanging upside down. And you're like, how are they going to get out of this? And then you're like, she's dead.
Yeah, she's not getting out of that.
Yeah.
door,
You
she's
all
dead.
right? I think I'd bigged it up too much. I've been looking forward to it for
Yeah.
ages because I'd only ever seen clips of Art, and he is terrifying to look at. And then when it came to it, I was like, this isn't what I expected at all.
I'd not heard anything about it, so
About Terrifying.
Yeah.
I
I'd
knew that like I'd seen a picture of Art because this is random, but on like the soundtrack got printed by a company in the UK.
All right. Okay.
And it's like this guy in Liverpool does loads of like really cool horror stuff. I'll send you a link. But and that's how I seen it because I was like, oh, he's got the license to a film called Terrifier, and I was like, I'd heard about Terrifier. That was it, and I'd seen a picture of Art the Clown because of that record, and yeah, basically, and then like
Right.
I think I just heard whispers of it, and I thought I'll give that a go.
Yeah.
When Lottie was out one night, and I was like, Jesus fucking Christ!
It's like we're going through this new thing of like, do you remember Video Nasties and everyone was
Yeah.
scrambling to be the worst,
Yeah.
most
Yeah.
gruesome thing. I think that's where indie horror is going to go next.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that a lot of it is things like with Hereditary. Is it A24 that did Hereditary?
Yeah.
They're really like clever films, but
Midsommar.
scary for scary.
Yeah.
Midsummer
So I
was
was
yeah.
going to
isn't it?
say you're either going to get these big art house numbers like Hereditary and like The Witch and stuff like
Yeah.
that, or
Yeah.
you're going to get the opposite end where it's just like dumb, really gory over the top, like your
Yeah.
Hostels and stuff.
Yeah.
Even with literature now, like there's books called like I don't know if anyone's read a book called Cows by Matthew
Yeah,
Sacco.
big time.
One of the most disgusting books I've ever read.
1 cow. 2. The cow jumped over the moon.
The cow says wrong again. But like, so literature's doing this kind of thing as well, where it's like all this pulp literature. Like, what's the other one that I read? The Slob, which is just disgusting. There's one called Womb as well, which is gross, and it's all these like gross out books. But I think we're getting that with cinema again now.
Yeah. Have you seen the film? I've been trying to think of the name, and it's driving me mad. Because I can't, but it's about the girl that works for the BBC in the video nasties era in the 80s.
Oh, no.
You know what? I haven't seen it, but one of my ex-students worked on that film.
Right.
He was like, he might have been first AD on that, actually.
Yeah. I think you might have told me that.
Yeah, he messaged us about it, saying, obviously, oh yeah, I think we have talked about it all going around in circles.
What's it about?
It's about a woman who works for the British Board of Film Classification when video nasties were coming around, and they have to sit in the rooms and
What's it called?
I can't remember.
Is it a documentary?
No,
it's like it's a horror film.
It's a horror film.
That sounds really good.
It's not the one on Netflix, is it?
We'll watch that for my episode if you
There's
want.
one called like
We'll
Archive.
do
or
a good one
something.
and a bad one.
Yeah,
That could be a good one. Yeah.
It's not Archive,
Have we
is
done
it?
Midsummer? Oh.
We haven't done Midsummer yet.
Is it Archive?
I don't know what it's called.
Alright. Because there's something on Netflix that's something like Archives to do with.
No, it's not that. I'll put it in the description.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one of our ex-students worked on that. It sounds amazing. Like,
Yeah,
I've seen the
really
trailer
good.
for it. It looks really, really good as well.
But yeah, listeners, I guess Google that.
Yeah, that's one of the more art housey ones of indie horror. Moving forwards.
But it's interesting that it's kind of doing that. So yeah, worst films before we wrap.
Worst film.
Triffids.
Just one.
Oh.
Well, I don't know. Tom. Yeah.
It's probably like Dead Ringers. I just hated it. I just hated everything about it. And it's probably because of where it landed. Like, maybe it was in the 90s, like episode 90 something.
Yeah,
so you've done nearly 100 of them, and you're just like, God, here we go again.
Slog. Yeah.
More rubbish.
But hang on, that's above Basket Case and things like that.
Yeah, because you rated Basket Case so lowly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this, yeah, that one was terrible. It was just not worth it. I didn't like The Crow and Sleepy Hollow as well. I hated Sleepy Hollow.
I haven't seen it since I was about 10.
I loved it when I was young. When I watched it and I went back and watched it, I was like, it's like a soulless movie.
Is it?
Yeah. There's like nothing to it. It's just rubbish.
It is one of the Peter Jackson ones, but they're just merged into one film. What was it? Bad Taste and what was the other one?
Bad Taste and Brain Dead.
I used to see Bad Taste in like HMV or
yeah, I did as well
all the time. It was always like 99p, and I always looked at the cover and thought that looks horrible, so I'm not going to watch that. Is that blob with the sunglasses?
Yeah, the big, big alien head guy. Yeah,
Brain Dead. I watched the wrong one as well, so I had to watch two, and they were both rubbish. But
because the Brain Dead's also called Dead Alive.
Yeah.
But
the one I watched, it was better than that, but it was terrible. And I think that already I was in a mood, and I had to watch two films in one night, which I never like doing.
Yeah.
And then it got me really angry. And at one point I was like, I don't even want to do this podcast anymore. I hate it that much. And then I think we watched something good afterwards, just to because I couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah, you have to wash your brain a bit.
Yeah.
I watched two Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde's because there was from 1930. There's one from
19. Completely separate films.
Yeah. One was listed on YouTube because I didn't want to have to pay like $1.99 to watch it. I thought it was going to be rubbish, so I put it into YouTube, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I was like, there it is, 1932. That's the one I'm watching.
I started that.
And I started it, and I watched it with my 6-year-old, and he was going, "This is rubbish." Like, and he's never seen a horror film or anything like that, and he was sat there being like, "This is boring." And I was like, "I have to watch it for the podcast." So I sat watching it, and then as soon as I finished it, I was like, "God, that's over." And then I clicked the button to move across one, and there was another Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and I was like, "Oh Christ, no!" And then,
what have I done?
Then that was the right one, so I just watched the wrong one. But luckily, the one we watched was all right. Like the silent, it wasn't silent.
That was
cinema,
a surprise.
It was pretty good. It was a lovely surprise. That one.
There was one. Which episode was it that I picked it and then you reviewed it and you stole it?
Christ, I can't remember what it was.
So then I had to do. Oh, that was one. Then I had to do one of the Peter Jackson ones while we were recording the last. In the episode, I was researching that, so I was even more angry about it.
It's funny enough when I started doing the Undead Social Club, which was always doomed to fail. But when I got to past the first 3 zombie films ever made, to find them, I had to go into some really weird internet places
Right.
to find these zombie films,
Yeah.
and then pay like £9 for digital
Oh
download
God.
for a 45-minute kind of zombie film from 1932, and I was like, I'm just not doing this.
Yeah.
Was that the first zombie film then?
No, so the first ever zombie film is a film called White Zombie. But I started a project where I was going to watch every single horror
That's
movie,
right, yeah,
zombie
yeah,
movie ever
yeah.
made in chronological order. But literally, like 4 in, I was like, this is a full-time job.
I wonder if you could even do that, like in one man's lifetime. I don't think.
Because
you
by
could.
the time you
yeah.
get to the end,
That's why I was like, I might literally be 70.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
still doing it.
doing this in
Yeah.
VR or what in space, whatever.
It feels like you would need a team of people, to do that show. Just have like 5 people constantly reviewing and releasing an episode a day to do it.
Yeah.
It was I liked the show though. I enjoyed listening to it.
Thank you.
was a good show.
If I had infinite time, I'd do it. But like, I have like 5 lists bookmarked on my Letterboxd, and they're, but you know, they're constantly added to because
Yeah.
a new zombie film comes out every week.
yeah.
Yeah, of course it does.
So like to be able to get through them, like I say, it'd probably be an impossible task.
Would
Yeah.
that include like B movies and stuff? Because you know, can remember
Oh,
like
isn't it?
28 days, 28 weeks later brought out. I used to work on Woolies, and there used to be like a budget one for like £3.
But that's the thing. I was like,
Did you have to do them as well?
I don't know how, because they're all on this. It depends if this person had put them on the list, and then sometimes I'd find one.
Right.
I'd literally, I think I got 4 films in, and then I like found one, and I was like, fuck, that came out a year before that, but wasn't on the list. It was the film that I'm referencing that I had to find that was like £9. And it was like, it wasn't on loads of lists because it was a bit of a porno, and like there was some ethical things about the women in the film. So I was like, I definitely don't want to watch this.
Yeah.
Like,
I think that would make a
it's-
really interesting episode though. Like
Oh, yeah, it
what
would,
ethical
but,
things
like,
about the women? You mean like it was against their will?
I think so,
Real
yeah.
zombies.
No, like there was some raunchy bits in there
Oh.
that maybe were in the 1930s.
Right. Okay.
Like I hopefully they weren't raped on screen and filmed.
Yeah.
But like I imagine they might not have been paid to have sex
Right,
with the
okay,
actors, or,
okay.
you know, because it's the 1930s and they just used to punch women and do what they want. You know
That
what I mean?
was
So
your
like
payment.
finding it now would be quite.
Thanks for that.
So yeah, but that's what. So there would be plenty to talk about. But getting through that film.
Yeah, that's it. It's actually sitting and
Is
watching
that
it.
is that? I thought you were just going to say stuff, just didn't want to do it, or they didn't shave or something. I didn't think it's so against the will.
I don't
Really?
know. I can't remember, but it wasn't. The women weren't treated very nice. I remember reading bits, and that's why I couldn't find the film, and it was only on some lists and the others. And I was like, "This is far too much effort." Than
Yeah.
I was like, "This was supposed to be a hobby,"
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it very quickly got very boring. So I guess my point is I empathise.
Yeah.
Worst film?
Probably Day of the Triffids.
Really?
Or
Good.
You really don't like Basket Case? I've not seen it.
I'm not going to talk about that. I don't think
Why
I need
don't
to.
you like it?
I don't think I need to because he's carrying around a fucking hernia in a wheelbarrow.
Yeah, but
he's an idiot.
I don't get it. I don't get why you disliked it so much.
Right, yeah. So Day of the Triffids,
Funny.
Basket Case goes without saying, and Salem's Lot because we had to watch it twice, and that's 3 hours.
Oh,
So that's 6 hours in total.
Salem's
And
Lot.
I'll be honest with you, I don't know if we watched it first, didn't we?
We
We
did
did
watch
watch
it,
it, and then
yeah.
6 months went by, and then we had to watch it again because we had a glut of films that were just rubbish, and we thought we're gonna have to break them up.
Yeah.
We'll watch it again later.
Yeah.
I just skipped through a little bit on YouTube and just I didn't even watch it. I just went like that. Oh yeah, yeah. And then
We
just
saw it in the
watched
first
it.
place, though.
Saw it in the
Hasn't
first
seen
bit,
it,
yeah.
Yeah, that's the main thing.
Have you read Salem's Lot?
Of course he has.
Twice.
He wrote it.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Really good. Yeah.
I've not watched anything because the book's very good, and I just thought it's not going to be.
Yeah.
If I've not heard that this is an amazing film, then it's not going to be good. Obviously.
Yeah. The new series is coming out
Yeah.
this year, apparently. Oh, is it a new film, I think, actually?
Right.
So I'm looking forward to that.
Is it? Will it be like a 2-parter, or is it just going to be?
I think it's just
One
a film.
Have you seen the thing
One
on
film.
Netflix?
Uh,
It's vague, but it's like about basically Salem's Lot, but like twisted. It's by the guy who did like Haunting of Hill House.
Oh,
All right.
I know.
It came out like a year or two ago.
yeah.
It's amazing.
Oh,
That's
not.
it.
No, I'm thinking Castle Rock. Because
Yeah, no, it's not that.
that's right. It's like a town right next to Jerusalem's Lot.
Right.
And it like references a lot of that.
Yeah. It's like
No.
an 8-parter. It's kind of more where it's like set like modern day.
Oh, Where's the Priest?
Yes.
Yeah, that's really good.
What's
Yeah.
it called?
This is going to be great for everybody listening to this. There's
I know,
loads,
yeah.
loads of stuff that they want to watch.
I don't edit the episode.
You just need to do like
talk
a
through.
voiceover, like this film was called.
yeah.
I think I know what you mean. I
it's
think
brilliant.
I've seen it. If it's a
Yeah, so that was basically lifted as like a modern day Salem Slot.
Pretty much, yeah. It was really good, but I didn't know what it was about at all until about 3 episods in.
Yeah, I
and
was like, hang on, what is this about? And I was like, this is
yeah, vampires. But the thing is, as well, when we're talking about the book, so I read them pretty quick, but
Yeah.
Emma will start a book and it'll take her about a year and a half to finish it.
Right.
And Stephen King books take a long time to kick in, and she didn't know anything about Salem's Lot. And then eventually, she said like, "Oh, I'm gonna like take this book on holiday." I was like, "You're not finished it yet?" And she's like, "No." And I said something about vampires. She went, "I didn't know there was vampires in it." I was like, "Oh, you ruined it now." Well, read quicker then. Yes.
Cujo. He's a dog.
Bloody hell.
But, well, where can we find 100 Horrors?
Find us
Spotify.
everywhere that you get podcasts now. Spotify is
probably
the
end
most
up on
popular.
YouTube at some
Apple
point.
Podcasts. I think we're going to launch a YouTube
Yeah.
channel as well. So
Makes sense if you're doing all that effort for your videos.
yeah, you can check us out on YouTube, but Spotify is the best place to get it.
Cool. Social media, people can hassle you.
Yeah, at 100 Horrors for everything. Send us messages, like harass us, all that kind of thing. We always like getting hate mail when we review people's favourite films badly. I like that kind
We're
of...
taking
aspect of it.
suggestions for films now as well.
Yeah.
sensible.
No, I
So we can say no, can't
We
we?
should do.
Yeah.
Oh, we can say no,
We
boy.
should do a Patreon for your suggestions.
Oh,
Pay
yeah.
us £1 and we will watch the film.
Yeah. Well,
Buy
we
the film
started,
for us
idea.
if it's on Prime.
we've started
Yeah.
filming in my dining room, so I've got a lot of frames behind me that are currently empty because they're in place.
Oh,
But I
yeah.
think
Put
just-
it in there.
That's what I'm thinking. You can pay a £5 and I'll put your picture in for an episode.
And you get to choose the film.
Yeah.
Choose the
Right,
film.
there you
Don't
go.
do that for all of them because you'll just get people who throw garbage at you. It'll be
Yeah.
awful.
Financially, we're down on this, aren't we? By
Yeah, I
quite a lot.
worked
am.
out because I picked...
I've got 250 quid down. I haven't bought a single film. Well, one. But then I've bought a lot of gear.
Equipment.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can't torrent any of these films. I just don't have a laptop that'll let me torrent anything anymore because I have a work laptop now. But like, yeah, I'm paying for these on Prime the whole time. It's like 250, 300 quid's worth of films you've watched,
About
and
that.
I've enjoyed about 3 of them.
And then all the
All the
equipment
time.
that we buy, and then the licensing. I'm still waiting for my deposit back for that license.
Oh, yeah, it's always nice as well where I'm like, oh, I've got the DVD of this. We don't have to pay for it, and then I open it, I'm like,
Where is it?
it's gone. Turns out I never had the DVD. I just wanted to have the DVD. So yeah,
But what you get in return is glory.
exactly. Yeah, we get harassed by people from Iowa, and that makes it all worthwhile.
Wanker.
So yeah. So yeah, at 100 Horrors.
Awesome. Thanks, chaps. Thank you for your time.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Alan, I really appreciate it.
No problems.